Thanks for staying with us here on The Pulse. Now, JoyNews research has uncovered a startling development at Tema Port. Massive excavator clearances happening mostly under the cover of night. Insiders confirm that the bulk of these machines slip out when public attention is low. This revelation comes less than 24 hours after the Ghana Water Company Limited and Greco made a passionate case for significant tariff hikes, blaming the devastating impact of illegal mining on their operations. Our further probe into the global OEC trade database reveals an even more shocking trend. Excavators have now climbed into Ghana's top 10 imports, with China leading as the biggest exporter. Well, join me now in the studio is JoyNews' lead data analyst, Isaac Ofieje, just to break down what exactly we're finding. This is shocking.
Yeah, indeed. In fact, this is what we are getting from our sources, and this is very, very reliable source that we are working with, looking at the number of excavators at the Tema Port and as well the clearance. We understand that there's a policy called no tracker, no movement. Although this is in force, we still see massive excavators leaving, the port. And the latest we are getting in terms of the Tema Port, the Jubilee, and all of the other ports is that because of the choky nature of the number of excavators at the port, now some of them are being moved to a safe haven, which questions are being asked about the security of this excavators and where they may end up, especially looking at the templates where some 5 or 6 years ago during the Stop Galamsey fight, we saw excavators being confiscated, kept at one point, and at a time we all went to check and then they were nowhere to be found. But what makes this shocking is the fact that if you look at the OEC data that we've been tracking since morning, it makes it, currently Ghana is the #1 importer of excavators in West Africa.
And this is shocking because as far back as June, government told us that they had placed a ban on the importation of excavators. And that is not what we are seeing on the grounds, is it?
Well, the data shows that, and per what we are learning from the port, even as of 27th, August, excavators were cleared from the port, and we have evidence to actually show that. And in fact, if you look at the numbers that I was talking about, Ghana now is the #1 importer of excavators in West Africa. Look at Ghana's
OEC data.
The OECD. Look at Ghana's, landmass and compare it to that of Nigeria in terms of even the economy of Nigeria and Ghana. Nigeria in 2023, according to the latest data we are getting from the OEC, spent about $94 million to import excavators. We, on the other hand, spent more than twice, $205 million to import excavators into the country. So the question is, if it is mainly for construction and just other purposes and not maybe for illegal mining or for mining, then you should have Nigeria with its landmass and economy having higher numbers than us. But it looks like we have a peculiar situation on our hands where these excavators, the purpose of importing these excavators, we simply do not know. But what we know is that even if you go back as far back as 2013, and if you aggregate how much we've spent on excavator importation between 2013 and 2023, we've spent close to about $969 million to import excavators. And you will be shocked that in 2023, we spent more on excavator importation than we spent on telephones or mobile phones, than wigs, than refrigerators, than computers, right? And that is a big worry, especially looking at the fact that in the entire Africa currently, we are only second to South Africa at the moment. We spent close to about $436 million on excavator importation. We are doing higher. If you take away South Africa, $205 million is a big import bill that puts a lot of pressure also on the city. We've been asking around, asking our sources how it costs to even clear one excavator. Although we don't have specific numbers yet, but we understand that it requires a lot of cedis, between 100 to 200,000 Ghana cedis to clear one excavator.
And the big question really is, what are they using the excavators for?
And in fact, first, the transport minister in June said that per the data they have, the arrivals in terms of excavators into the country was around 200 excavators per day. So if you are using this to estimate what may happen in the year, holding all other factors constant, it means that in 1 year, you should expect some 73,000 excavators into Ghana. The question is, what are we using all of these excavators for? And we'll be finding, answers. But what we know is the fact that in Africa, we are currently number 2 in terms of the countries that spend more on excavator importation. In West Africa, we are number 1, beating big, economies like Nigeria and even, Ivory Coast. So this is what we are getting from the port based on what our sources are telling us in terms of the excavator importation. And as well, we know for fact that, based on what our sources are telling us, that the fresh data we are getting is that some of the excavators are now being moved to safe haven. And we simply do not know what may happen after they are moved from the port to other, areas. What we understand is that there's now congestion at the port because of the delay in the clearance. But although there are new rules and policies, we still have information that shows that there is that regular clearance of excavators from the port. And we understand that just one excavator for sea has about 2, batteries that cost more than 30,000 Ghana cedis. That's what our sources are telling us. It takes a lot to actually import excavators. So it is possibly only those with deep pockets who are in this business, maybe individuals and firms. But we are still gathering data on what we are learning so far, Fosti.
Okay, Kofi, stay with me. I'll come to you just to get more information as to the calls you've been making to try and get answers as to why this is happening. But this revelation raises eyebrows because government has long declared a ban on the importation of excavators, just like I told you. And a key part of efforts to clamp down on galamsey and protection of the nation's water bodies was one of the reasons they gave for that. Now, that happened as far back as June. The Ministry of Transport rolled out the No Permit, No Excavator directive, insisting that no machine could enter the country without express clearance. The Transport Minister, Joseph Bukari-Nikbe, made that revelation at that time, and he stressed that this was to ensure that there's strict compliance with mining regulations. But the big question now is what changed? And for some answers, let me bring you this interview that the CEO of DVLE, Julius Nikwe-Kote, made with my sister station, our sister station, Asempa. He admitted that there are challenges when it comes to tracking excavators once they leave the port. Listen.
When they look at the excavator registration tool, excavator fighting galamsey no. Let's always pray for Jomani Mahama. Okay, look at this instance. We registered some excavators at the port. We tracked them. They said, no, that one we didn't even register them, but we tracked them. Because they said we were going to Burkina. Hey, 2 a.m. and I got a call from one policeman. Yes, they've taken the tracker off, put it in an Uber car, and the car is going to Burkina, and they've directed the excavators. Meanwhile, warning for registration of excavators. Within 2 weeks, we registered 5,902 excavators only in Ghana. That was in the system and they've not been registered. So our second
Well, tracking the excavators is a big problem, as we're just hearing from the DVLE boss. Individuals taking away the tracker. And it raises concerns about how we can even deal with this canker in the first place. You've been doing some calls, Kofi. Have you heard any feedback from the Transport Ministry?
Well, the Transport Ministry, the minister himself has been speaking to us, and we are getting the details. He's been responding to this story.
Okay.
We'll bring you latest details on Top Story very soon, so you can tune into Joy 99.7 FM at 5:30. We'll be bringing you what the minister has been saying about this latest development. But for in terms of even tracking these excavators and people moving them and placing them on other vehicles, it tells you that there's a lot of suspicion around the imported excavators into the country and the purpose in which people feel that I mean, people declared at the port that they were going to use them for. So it simply means that if people are taking these trackers, I mean, where do they find themselves? Definitely, you may find a significant component of them at Galamsey site. And it's one of the reasons why it becomes, just like the DVLA boss said, fighting Galamsey is now so difficult. It's not just affecting, our finances. We saw yesterday Ghana Water Company saying that, look, we need 280% increment in our tariff. Other than that, we will shut down. Why? Because Galamsey has polluted our waters. We need more chemicals to treat this water. Gridco yesterday is also saying that illegal mining is affecting their transmitters. They need more money to protect these transmitters. Who is going to pay? They are pushing the cost on consumers. And so the fight against illegal mining is now or never. We either do it now or never. And it looks like although government is putting measures in place, people are still trying to find ways and means to create loopholes and use those loopholes to actually inure to their own benefit. So it's not surprising that we are seeing the clearance of excavators at the port, and then also the congestion we are seeing, and the fact that per the latest information we are getting and the calls we've made, some excavators are being moved. And according to our source, it started somewhere around last month where some of the excavators are being moved to what they call safe havens. Where they will end up later on, we all don't know. And what we are scared about is we don't want to repeat what happened 3 or 4 years ago when excavators were confiscated from illegal miners, and at the end of the day, nobody got to know where they ended up.
Thank you so much, Kofi. I will be monitoring this situation at 5:30 p.m. on Top Story. We'll give you the response of the Transport Minister, who has been addressing some of the key concerns that we have raised. Our research desk has been doing the digging. But let me bring in Samson Asakia-Wingobed. He's the leader for the Importers and Exporters Association. We appreciate your time here on The Pulse. Now, I know that as far back as June, government placed a ban on the importation of excavators. I can ask you this question because you're also an importer yourself. And then we know that moving forward, you would need a license to import excavators. Without clearance from government, you cannot do that. Is it the case that your members are boycotting the process?
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to your cherished viewers and listeners. Madam, I must say that the Minister of Transport is one of the problematic ministers that we are having in the system.
Why is that?
The Minister of Transport has contributed to what we are seeing now, this canker in the country. The Minister of Transport has created what we now have party boys and girls or middlemen who are running to these excavator importers and asking, give us this amount of money. We will go and facilitate for you to get a permit and clear.
But these allegations we cannot prove.
Let me state clearly.
Please speak clearly. But we must state on record that these allegations we cannot prove.
Let me state clearly that the Minister of Transport, if I were to be the Minister of Transport, how do you say you have put an embargo or a ban on it? One, you was supposed to write a letter strictly to the shipping lines and state that from this day onward, if you are loading cargo from port of origin and you are receiving a cargo that is an excavator and you bring it to my port, you will be penalized, or you will not call to my port again. You will be banned. Then you issue a statement to say any importer from this date, if there's a cargo on an excavator in the high seas coming, is not part, and those that have landed in the country is not part. But from this date to this date, if one load an excavator to a shipping line or to a carrier or to a vessel, if that vessel arrives in my country, you stand to pay penalties of this, and the importer too will be held reliable. This is how Minister of State does things. Explicit, communicated, and to warn port authorities, if a ship landed in your port with an excavator, do not clear that vessel do not allow that vessel to discharge those excavators to your terminal. Let it send it back to where it's coming from. This is how a minister of states should take charge and show authority that this is, because I have given my cut-off date, I have given lineage to people whose cargo or whose goods are in the high seas coming, and I said from this date, as we speak, maybe today is on the 10th, isn't it? Today is 10th September.
Yeah.
From 10th September, if you don't have a vessel coming in the high seas with an excavator, but by 30th, if you are a vessel and you are going to load to Ghana and you are getting a cargo that is indicated excavator and you still bring it to my port, you will either not be allowed to come to my port, or when you arrive at the port authorities do not allow you to discharge that excavator to their terminal because you will hold them accountable. This thing that we are seeing would have been proper thing. Then you then allow those cargo that had landed and those cargo that was on the high seas coming to be cleared under the tracking system that they are talking about. Then you tell them, if you clear your cargo, please, if I see your excavator, find its way to Galamsey's area, count yourself, you will no longer have access to this excavator. Explicit. If one says that, oh, my excavator are not for Ghana, but they are going to, they are going to inland countries, i.e. Burkina Faso, Mali, or Niger, you will not use only the tracking system alone. You will line them up, give them an escort, police and custom escort them to that border. Make sure they are exited. They enter into the other part of the world.
You allow me coming at this point. We're just hearing from the DVLA boss tell us the difficulty they are facing even with the tracking system, where
that is why
you have trackers installed on the excavators from the port, but then before they get to their destination, they have taken out the trackers, and it's a big problem for them. And so they are leaving the blame at your doorstep, because as importers, you have to be transparent with your dealings. Is that not the case?
Firstly, that is not the way it should have been done. I saw when the Burkina Faso guy brought in his trucks, his equipment, and they were leaving to Burkina Faso. I saw how they were lined up. I saw how they were escorted till they get there. That is what we are talking about. You are saying you are no longer going to receive excavator. If a shipping line is bringing excavator, that is distinct for Burkina Faso. That is distinct for Niger or Mali. You will make sure that straight away from the port, when they come, there will be a one-day exit. Then you give them a full force. Custom preventive is there. Police is there. Escort them. Exit them. We do not want them in our land. That is how it should be. You should take a bold decision. And so, yes, I can agree. I admit that you put a tracker. The tracker got a point. The tracker is moved into Uber. Then the excavator found its way back to our land. That shows that all is lost. So what do we devise? Okay, we'll give you a tracker. Then we'll give you physical escort to make sure that this excavator does not find its way into our land. This is how it should be done. So I was expecting the minister to have been bold, to say, look, clearing these excavators to the minister camp, to Burma camp, or wherever they are going to keep them. How long can the minister continue to carry this risk? If you put excavator is parked at Burma, excavator is parked at mission. If tomorrow excavator is got missing, will you go and hold the commander, the commanding officers responsible, or who?
But how is communication going on when it comes internally? How are you ensuring that your members are abiding by the rules and regulations set by government?
What rules? I expect the minister to allow these people to clear their cargo, but let them know that the risk is at you. If your excavator is found at Galamsey area or mining area, you will be confiscated and you will be forfeited.
But these excavators ought not to be in the country in the first place, because as far back as June, government placed a ban on the importation of excavators.
How did he place the ban? How did he issue the directive? Can you call for a directive? Did he write explicitly to the shipping lines, the SWAT, Ship Owners and Agents Association?
Yes, this was made public. This was made public. Are you saying as members of the importers community you haven't seen or heard about this directive?
And I'm saying if you are giving directive, this is not the kind of directive you should be giving. The directive fall flat. That is why it has caused this mayhem in our land, in our shores. It shouldn't be. And I'm saying the one who carried is a shipping line. You issue a statement and say, look, I have observed with consent. I have seen that much excavators are coming to this part of the world. Please, if the excavator is not going on transit, but is coming here, no. So you see the document, it is for export. That means when they get to Ghana, it's going on transit. Then when they get to Ghana, we should find ways and means to let it go out. Not only using tracker alone. Tracker will not solve the problem. But any excavator that is destined to come to Ghana, please don't take it. And even if you refuse to pick it when you get to Ghana port, the port authority will tell, no, sorry, you can't discharge this excavator here. You have to take it back to where you brought it from. This is exclusive directive. This is what I was expecting the minister to do. Which he did not. So he has created this problem for all of us. And now they are running helter-skelter, carrying them to Misha camp, carrying them to Burma camp. How long can you continue to cater for this? But if he has given out a standing warning to the shipping line, to the carriers, they will never bring it. If the importer gives the cargo to them, they will say, no, your country, if I get there, they will surcharge me. Or even if I get there, they will not allow me to come to their port. Okay. I'm not ready to take that cargo.
Okay. Thank you so much, Awingobed, for your time here on Joy News and on the Pulse. We appreciate your time. It appears you're leaving the blame on the doorstep of government. But away from that, 2 firefighters and a pregnant woman injured in the Ghana National Fire Service. As the Ghana National Fire Service, I beg your pardon, battles for nearly 24 hours to douse flames that gutted a warehouse owned by some Chinese nationals at Latabiokoshi here in Accra. The firefighters, we know, are still battling that massive flame at the warehouse, and it's almost 24 hours. They tell us they've been able to contain the flame, but according to the Ghana National Fire Service, the blaze has been difficult to bring under control because of the nature of the items stored in the facility. So as we speak, there's still pockets of flames. My colleague Adobe Asari was there, and she found this report.
The National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, has confirmed 2 firefighters and a pregnant woman injured as the Ghana National Fire Service strive to quench a destructive fire that gutted a warehouse owned by some Chinese individuals at Latabiokoshi here in Accra on Tuesday, September 9 around 4 p.m. Mohamed Bada is the Ablekuma Central Municipal Deputy Director in charge of administration and operations for NADMO.
Yeah, it was, they fainted. So they are the fire service officers. They, because of the smoke, and then they tried to go inside actually. And then one person fell from the top. But he has been admitted. He's currently at the hospital. And then 2 of our municipal guards too had casualties. One pregnant woman, because of the flames that entered her, she has also been admitted at the hospital. So the damages, everything is gone. There is nothing that we can say it is recovered for them to take it, right? So 2 houses, or I can say 3 houses, is partially burnt. You understand? And then we can recall that initially we thought it was 2 cars, but when we entered inside, we know it is only a car that is burnt inside there, totally burnt. There is nothing that can be taken from the car. You understand? So far, that is what I can report.
The Greater Accra Regional Minister, Linda Oklu, who later arrived at the scene, says the nation will bear no cost since the fire was caused by the owners of the warehouse.
The fire is yet to give us the cause of the fire, which we already know that they say is the fault of the Chinese. Are you getting me? So my point is that if it's the cost, this shouldn't be a burden to the government. And so those affected areas, we are going to tax them to be responsible so that they will take care of the affected houses. So that is what we are going to do. Are you getting me? We already know, I mean, when we got the news, the fires were here, and per their report too, like I said, it's the same thing. And so they caused it, so they have to bear the consequences.
Assistant Chief Officer Rashid Nisawu explains that the service is taking long to quench the blaze because of the nature of the items in the warehouse, which are preventing the water from reaching the base of the fire.
The nature of items that are here are these sandals, canvas, shoes and other things. So the way they have heaped them is such that when you pour water on it, the water doesn't get to the seat of the fire. So we have now decided that we are bringing in an excavator to pull out some of these fire loads and allow us to put water on it to cool it and finally extinguish it.
The National Fire Service says it remains hopeful that the blaze will be brought under control by the close of day. Reporting for Joy News, Adobe Asari, Latabia Koshi, Accra.
Well, let's explore this further. And join me now is Rashid Nisau, his Greater Accra Regional Commander for the Fire Service. We appreciate your time here on the Pulse. Just give us updates. You've been there all morning. Have you been able to tame the flames?
Hello.
Hello, sir. I can hear you loud and clear. I'm wondering if you've been able to douse the flames.
Okay, so as we speak, I have told you already, the fire is under control. What we are doing now is salvaging. And the earth-moving machine, a grader is helping us to salvage. We are using the grader to go down the fire load, to spread them, and then we can now use water to cool it. And I can assure you that by the close of the day, all things being equal, we should have put this to rest.
And then I can see that there are pockets of flames. Have that also been completely doused?
Yeah, as for the pocket of flame, like you have said before, because we are doing salvaging, wherever there's excessive heat, there's likely to be flame emanating from those pockets, and we are ready to douse it by the close of the day.
Okay, and so far we're hearing of 2 firefighters and as well as a pregnant woman injured. Do you know the state of your firefighters? Are they better now, receiving medical care?
Yeah, the two firefighters currently are receiving medical attention. I cannot confirm to you of any pregnant woman, okay, as you have reported. I cannot confirm that. What I know, as at yesterday, is that 2 firefighters fell from a height and they have since been taken to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. One is not even a uniformed man, he is a civilian, and one was a fireman, and currently they are receiving treatment at the hospital. I've sent the Metro Fire officer to go and visit them this morning, and they are doing very well. I'm sure by now they should be discharged for them to go home.
So it's only one firefighter, the other is a civilian?
Yes, one firefighter, one fireman, and then a civilian. They are not 2 firefighters. It's one fireman and then a civilian. I can't confirm the pregnant woman, please.
Interesting. So far, based on your analysis on the grounds, have you been able to identify the source of the flames based on the interviews you've had with individuals around?
Okay, so at the moment, it's not appropriate at this time to share the cause of fire to the general public, but I can assure you we have an understanding of what has happened, and we will do our further investigations from tomorrow and come out with a conclusion, please.
Thank you so much for your time here on the Pulse. Rashid Nisau, he is the Greater Accra Regional Commander for the Fire Service, just giving us updates that they are still on the grounds trying to fix the challenge. They tell us that they are actually giving us updates with regards to the individuals who are injured. Contrary to our earlier reports, he tells us that the 2 individuals, only one of them is a firefighter, and the other individual was a civilian trying to help the fire service do their job. You're still watching The Pulse. We'll be back after this quick turn. Please stay tuned in.